Hey everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown with me, Matthew from Stillwater Alchemy. I have a few announcements before we hop into it today. First of all, we reached 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So I want to thank you all very much. It truly means so much to me to have such beautiful support and love in this community that really resonates with the work that I put out. I get a lot of beautiful testimonials or DMs about how sometimes these transits literally manifest in their lives. So trust that I go through the comments. I try and answer them best I can. And thank you all for watching. It really means a lot. And second of all, I will be taking some time off just to completely unplug, not be on my phone, not be answering emails. I just felt the call as we end this energetic year, as we're finishing off Pisces season before we start a new energetic year with Aries, just to really honor everything that's taken place in my life with my business. And I truly don't even remember the last time I took more than 2 or 3 days off, and more than 2 or 3 days off without looking at screens, which is kind of wild. I was thinking it's probably in 2019 when I went to visit family, and that is not normal. And I know that technology is great, but coming back into ourselves, our intuition, allowing that to guide us, especially with all this Pisces energy in play and with Mercury about to enter Pisces, I just felt it was appropriate to take a step back and unplug. So that means we're getting 2 weeks breakdown in one video. So I'll be going through a whole 14-day cycle. That way you can refer back if you just want to watch the first week and then come back next week to watch the second half, or watch it all at once to get a full scope of what's going on. That works too. So let's hop into it, shall we? So this week, we're starting on Monday, March 7th, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really want you to focus on the positives, giving gratitude, coming back to those basics. The reason why I say this is because the moon is making a really nice sextile to Jupiter, but she's also making that applied square to Saturn and Mercury. So I want you to think back what came through during the Pisces new moon, what came through during the Sun Jupiter Cazimi this past Saturday, and really focusing on that. This also comes a theme moving on to Tuesday of like, if the news is stressing you out, the collective energy, it's not escaping or putting your head in the sand if you need to fill your cup up first. And if you consistently are scrolling or reading content or tweets or the news, and it's distracting you from doing the base necessities in your life to be able to provide for yourself, for your friends, for your family, for your community, that's where the imbalance can come in. And the moon is in a nice position to get some support from all this Pisces energy. So that's where I want you to just focus on the good in your life versus the bad. It doesn't even have to necessarily be collective worldly news, although I do think that's going to be in play with Saturn and Mercury in Aquarius. But it can also just be maybe there's one thing in your life that isn't going as well, and you keep being hard on yourself because you think you should be further along or it should be better. That can also be a moon Saturn type square energy in our life where it's like, I just wish that this could be better, or if I put in so much work, when is it going to be my turn? I want us to bring our attention to the fact that Mars and Venus entered Aquarius yesterday on Sunday, March 6th. So it's like the Aquarius house in our natal chart got 2 extra house guests. So it's going to be very concentrated in that part of our lives up until March 10th, when Mercury will go into Pisces. So for those of you that have dominant air energy in your chart, let's say in Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, this will make a nice energy and maybe bring a boost of vitality or love or opportunity. For those of you that don't have a lot of air energy and your Aquarius house is packed, just be aware of that, because again, we still have Uranus in Taurus. So whenever we have the moon in a fixed sign, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, it just kind of creates some of those frictional energies where your emotions may be swayed easier if you don't have those grounding techniques and if you don't have those daily rituals to make sure that you're supported throughout the day. Okay. So even if you do have dominant Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius energy, it's still beneficial for you to get that grounding in to stay focused day by day. Okay. But for those of you that have kind of some nice Aquarius energy, expect a boost of love and energy and movement in that part of your chart. Okay. When we get to Tuesday, Moon making that direct square to Mercury. The good thing is, as the day goes along, it gets better and better. So just note, especially if you're west of the Atlantic, that at the start of Tuesday, things might feel heavy. This is when I would probably maybe not go on apps or check news, because that would really affect you. However, once we move later on in the day, just to show you here, we have the Moon move into Gemini at around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a beautiful energy because now the Moon is making that trine to Mars and Venus. So go out, have fun. Yes, it's a Tuesday. Doesn't matter. This is a great time where those social connections will be more active, especially with the Moon making that trine to Venus. This is a great time for a date night or to connect, Netflix and chill, whatever you're wanting. This is a great energy to enjoy. And if we kind of bump this back now, remembering that the Moon starts off in Taurus, it's like, it's kind of shaking off those things. If you've been really bogged down at the start of the week, we want to make sure we're in a lighter, more elevated place to enjoy when the Moon moves into Gemini when we get to Wednesday, because this is really nice. And for those of you who are wanting to reach a greater audience or collaborate or maybe put out content or marketing or anything, Wednesday ruled by Mercury. Mercury's in those final degrees of Aquarius. So with all this beautiful air energy in the cosmos, please, please, please take advantage of that. Whatever you're needing to do, if you're needing to send emails or correspondence, or you've been waiting on a message, or you need to follow up with someone, Wednesday. Even just getting some of those things off the to-do list, your mind is going to be very sharp and very focused with that kind of Moon Mars energy, and even Moon Saturn. You might just be more diligent and focused about getting some of those administrative tasks done. And just in general, when Mercury moves into Pisces tomorrow, we're all going to be a bit more creative, visually focused. Facts and figures, numbers, dates aren't going to be as strong when Mercury moves into Pisces. So like I said, any admin, promotion, marketing, business, correspondence, get that done on Wednesday. I mean, if it don't get it all done, it's not a big deal, but it's just a very beautiful time to do so. Thursday, now we have Mercury moving into Pisces. This is always kind of an interesting transit. For those of you that natally have Mercury in Pisces, remember this is going to be your Mercury return. Especially if you have other dominant water energy, your intuition is just going to skyrocket. This would be the time as well. I've been getting a lot of questions around dreams. How do I remember dreams more? I have trouble. Now with Mercury, co-present Jupiter, the Sun, and Neptune, that is going to be amplified more. Your natural intuition is going to be elevated, your creativity, or maybe wanting to focus on the more emotional, relational parts of your life. For all of my creatives out there, singers, dancers, artists, whatever you may perform in or what medium you like to engage with, this is a huge. So let's say you've been trying to find that emotional, creative outlet or that inner muse, or just needing that inspiration, that motivation. This will be huge. So do not sleep on this transit. I believe we have Mercury in Pisces until the 26th of March. So now that Mercury's back up to full speed, it's zooming through these zodiac signs. So this is also what I'm personally curious about in terms of reawakening certain things or our dreams or intuition. So I'm taking time off starting Wednesday, and then Mercury enters Pisces right after. So if you also feel called to maybe distance yourself from social media to just see what's coming through creatively with your own musings and not getting distracted, because that's kind of like, I'll say this, sometimes when Mercury isn't in a strong place, it can be like, oh, something shiny, something alluring, something entertaining, and it just gets distracted very easily. So if you're needing to be focused, scrolling on apps is not going to help you unless you're maybe a visual person that needs that stimulation. But trust in your own inspiration, trust in your own intuition to guide you with this Mercury transit. In other news, we have the Moon in the final degrees of Gemini, making that applied trine to Saturn. So maybe if you didn't get all the administrative done before, or you're still wanting to do those last minute connections, this will be a nice grounding energy for you to do that. Also, this seems like a nice energy if you need to have like an intellectual heart to heart, or really have like a serious conversation potentially around business or around an idea or around a patent or a trademark or anything that requires that more cerebral, logical self. This would also be a great time to do it, kind of like Wednesday moving into Thursday. And then once we move into Friday, we have the moon making that exact trine to Mercury. And remember, the moon is in her home sign and is doing very well in Cancer. So Friday, this is very fertile, fun, wet energy. So use that as you wish. This could also be great for emotional collaborations, connecting with loved ones, having just some fun. It's Friday. This is a really nice energy to engage with. The moon is making that applied sextile to Uranus. So this could be really nice. I literally just have like, especially when we get to Saturday, blessings on blessings. So really honor your intuition. People also ask, like, what's the difference between intuition and our thought? Why can't we have intuitive thoughts? And so this would just be, maybe you want to test that starting on Friday and feeling into this Mercury in Pisces energy. And I often just give the example to clients. Let's say you just leave your home and you're thinking about love. Just ask the universe, ask your higher self, should I turn left or right? And maybe by turning left, you truly feel called to go there. You see a couple holding hands. If you're cultivating and manifesting love or greater love in your relationships, and the first thing you see is a couple holding hands, you know your intuition is quite stronger. That's leading you in a good direction. If maybe you're not seeing anything to do with love and nothing pink or green crosses your path, or you're just not getting a strong symbol, that's when we want to come back to those grounding practices throughout the day or each day, so that we can really just tune into that. And again, it's going to mean different things for different people, but whenever we're in water dominant seasons, or we have nice transits through water signs, it's just nice energy where that becomes a bit more easier to tap into. Or you can just even really take note of your dreams on Friday. One thing I will say that's kind of coming through intuitively for me, if you're feeling called to have an emotional, purely heart to heart with someone, clear the air, or if you want to deepen into that emotional self, let's say you've been dating someone for a while and you need to have that conversation to say, where are we going? What's happening? This could be a day with all this water energy where they're also going to be susceptible, or maybe are going to be a bit more vulnerable. So this would be a just nice day if we're needing to have something to do creative or emotionally, or channeling your intuition, or looking at your dreams, both from a literal or metaphysical standpoint. Friday's a great day. When we move to Saturday, this is just blessings on blessings on blessings. Moon making that applied trine to Jupiter, the Sun, and Neptune. Be careful of how much fun we have, because this could just lead to fertility. If you've been wanting to conceive, this is really nice energy. This is the last time we're going to have a moon Jupiter trine in a water sign when the sun is also in a water sign until Scorpio season, until November 13th. So yes, we'll have other moon Jupiter trines in water signs, but not during a water season. So with that being said, it's just going to amplify all of those themes that we just talked about on Friday. So have fun, go out, connect. This is kind of like shoot your shot. If you've been wanting to connect with someone or go on a date, like this is fabulous energy to just bond and connect emotionally and just have fun. If we think of emotion, it's not always this deep, intense, depressing energy. It can also be fun and vivacious, and just celebrate the wins and the blessings in your life. So have fun on Saturday. Please enjoy it. Okay. Good. When we get to Sunday, we have the moon opposing Pluto. And the last two times this has happened, last month, everyone felt it. Everyone felt like they either hit, at least the people that I connected with and my clients in my community, I was receiving a lot of feedback a month ago when this happened, that they were really in their head about relationships, or they were really stressed out, or they were exhausted, or feeling like they hit rock bottom. And then 2 months ago, when we had the moon opposing Pluto, was during that Cancer full moon, which also had a very similar effect. So it's like whatever is on your heart, whatever is on your mind is going to be exaggerated, and maybe some fears or doubts or those Plutonian themes of death and rebirth and control and power are going to be affecting you quite deeply. The one good thing is we have the moon getting some support from the Pisces energy in play. But I just don't want you to get lost in the projections from the outside world, because we do have this sun, Neptune, Cazimi. So ideally, it's almost like if you can walk through the other side of fear, focusing on your dreams, focusing on visualization, focus on getting grounded, which has been a prominent theme, especially at the start of this week. We always kind of come full circle. Focus on that. This would also be a good day, again, to maybe go inward, unplug, so you're not getting stimulated or stressed out by external stimuli, that you can just focus on rewiring that subconscious, affirming your dreams, because that's going to be a really big theme as we move into next week, as we approach that Virgo full moon. The energy that I got moving into next week. Oh, sorry, sidebar. We now have daylight savings time. So note that if you're a city or a country that honors daylight savings time, I'm going to push this back 1 hour. But like I was saying, it's like this energy that we're birthing something, or something's coming to culmination, but there's going to be this energy with the Virgo full moon and the days leading up to the Virgo full moon, where it's like, we might feel like we have to choose between being pragmatic or following our dreams. And I'll talk about that more when we get there. But having that foundational work of getting grounded, knowing what our stressors are, not getting tempted into engaging with that or having these energy leaks throughout the day, throughout the week. That is what I want you to focus on Sunday, even kind of going inward and journaling and seeing where you get distracted or what stresses you out, so that you have a game plan moving forward indefinitely, but especially moving forward into next week, which is when we have the moon moving into Leo. So this can be challenging as well, because the moon is making those oppositions to Mars, Venus, and that applied opposition to Saturn. We've been talking a lot as well with the moon representing our body and our health. And so with the moon in Leo, that's our heart, our lower back. And then with Aquarius energy, that's shins, calves, ankles, and circulatory system. So this can also, for me, if you've been working out really hard, just be careful of burnout, especially like an overuse injury. On the flip side, if you've been working through an injury, this could be a great time where you may be seeing some positive feedback there. But if you are working out, especially now, because remember, we don't have any planets in fire signs unless the moon is in a fire sign, which will change shortly when we move into Aries season. But just be careful of overexerting yourself or of burnout in general. How I would use this is to, again, really see what we are passionate about and seeing where maybe the disconnect is between our head, Aquarius energy, that cerebral thinking, and our heart in terms of our passions and what we're moving through, and maybe where those delays are, maybe where we're not allowing our relationships to have an equal say in our lives, or where maybe some of our relationships are causing us to be a little bit stretched, or we're not being fully present in those relationships. And that might just be the battle between the ego and the self and the people that we're connecting with. And that can also just be on an individual relationship factor, or that can also be you and the world. But it's just something to consider, just given these intense oppositions that the moon is dealing with. And then if we're moving to Tuesday, we can see this separating opposition between the moon and Saturn. And this can, again, just feel, as we're moving towards that full moon in Virgo, maybe some delays or restrictions. And I just want you, again, like we talked about on Sunday, going inward, of just journaling where you feel the most frustrated or where these delays are coming from, and kind of pinpointing where those are coming up. And again, maybe tuning into your intuition to see, it's like, these aren't my feelings, or these aren't my beliefs. These are projected onto me, or maybe I've carried them from when I was younger. And this is what's causing me stress, or I'm coming up to this authority figure, Saturn, that's causing me to have an emotional turmoil because I'm listening to what they're thinking or what they're saying, and it's affecting me. This can also be world leaders, of course, if we're talking about Saturn and Aquarius, or these structures or restrictions that are affecting all of us in different ways, and then having a really profound effect on us emotionally. So just be cautious of that, because both on Monday and Tuesday, the moon is making those squares to Uranus, right? So it's like stress and frustration and anxiety that could switch on a dime, which is, again, the grounding is really, truly important here. And I want to stress that one more time. I want to see, is there anything else I had pinned for this? Yes. And so what I was intuitively feeling with this moon opposing Saturn, it's like that one final contraction, or you feel like you're just putting in all of this work. And it's like, is this going to work? I just feel like exhausted, or I'm just going and going and going. And it's like restriction or delay or block. It's like, you might feel like you might have to give up or let go of something you truly want. And remember, we're thinking Leo, that brings us joy, and that passion truly fills our heart up, which then comes to Wednesday. So like I said, we're now leaning into this full moon that's approaching on the 18th of March, on Friday. So this is what I want you to see, is now that we have the moon in Virgo, practicality, being pragmatic, looking at all the facts and figures, breaking things down. How is this going to work? You say you want to do this, but what about this, this, and this? Now the moon is opposing Mercury. And so it's kind of like that dreamer aspect where sometimes you just can't explain it. With Pisces, it's always a vibe. I just have it, this feeling. I know intuitively I'm getting that message from God, my higher self, from the universe. I can't explain it. I can't detail it out to you. I can't give you a business proposal. You just have to trust me. The moon in Virgo, that other side of yourself, that other part of your heart, may be picking apart a dream or self-sabotaging something before you even allow this vision, this dream to be birthed. And that also crosses up into Thursday, where it's like the moon opposing Jupiter and Neptune. And this can be where it's like the dream or the vision is coming out, like you're literally birthing it, and there's just a lot of emotions, and you're just like, this is too much, or it's right before. And this, again, you can look to the houses that are ruled by Virgo and Pisces to see where you might be going back and forth between what makes sense and what you truly feel from an intuitive, emotional standpoint. And it can almost be like where you're just being challenged, and you need to have that extreme faith in this moment where, like I said, it doesn't necessarily make sense on paper, but you know it to be true. I'll give a couple examples from this, one like a movie reference and one from a personal standpoint. So a few years ago, I knew that I wanted to find my own place in Toronto. People are saying that it's impossible. I can never get it for the price that I wanted. I knew the exact areas. There were 2 different areas in Toronto that I wanted for a certain price point. I had all the references, all the bank documents, a credit report, everything was flawless. So I saw one place, it was below budget, it was in my area exactly. There was an 11 in the address. So I was freaking out. I'm like, great, a mastery number, 11 is always a good sign. I told my realtor, I'm like, I can give them 6 months deposit. Get me this house. It was on a Friday. I found out at like 5 p.m. that I didn't get it, that I gave it to someone else. I had just gotten a new serving gig at this really beautiful restaurant. And one of my coworkers at this restaurant was also looking for an apartment. And she said, oh yeah, I saw the place, but didn't you see the black mold in the closet? I was like, no. She said, didn't you notice that there was a daycare on the main floor? Because I was looking at a basement suite. I said, no. So it was this huge blessing where I thought this home that I wanted was like taken away from me. I was like, no, it actually worked out in my favor. That weekend, I got super sick. And again, I was frustrated because I just started in this serving gig where I could make so much money, but I was like, okay, like my body needs time to heal. Again, it was like, felt like another delay or restriction. And so normally I had acting class on Monday, but I was still feeling sick. And so I called in saying I couldn't come. But that afternoon, I saw a new listing on the exact same street that the other listing was on. So I was like, I love the area. Literally like 100 meters down from where I just saw the first place on Friday. So I went on Monday, took a whole bunch of flu medicine, handed my documents. They loved me. They called my references on a Wednesday, and I signed the lease on a Thursday. This new place, brand new, beautiful, soft closed cupboard, tile floors. The landlord was phenomenal, all under budget of what I wanted. And so I had like all these delays, but then I ended up getting exactly what I wanted, even better. That is the energy that I'm feeling with the moon in Leo asking us, how bad do we want it? examining our relationships, honoring the delays and the growth, and then the moon moving into Virgo, what makes sense, what other people say we can and cannot have. You know how many times people are like, you're never going to get a place on your own in Toronto for that dollar amount. And I was like, yes, I will. Like so many people are like, good luck. And I just knew in my heart, when I didn't get the first place, of course, there was that ping of disappointment. And then I found out from my coworker, again, what are the chances that a coworker of this new place you looked at is also looking for a home, and was able to relay that message to me. And then 3 days later, a home right down the street in Toronto, the fourth biggest city in North America. It just all worked out the way it was supposed to, but I didn't give up faith. There might've been those moments of doubt, but I got it. And then a second fun movie example is Burlesque with Christina Aguilera and Cher. And Cher is getting all these notices that she has to close down the club because she can't have the money. And it's near the end of the film, no spoilers, but Stanley Tucci's character is like, well, maybe you have to give up. Like, you've tried everything. You went to every bank. And he's like, it's over. And then Cher has this moment. She's like, I'm never giving up. I'm never giving up this club. This is my club. I'm going to find a way. And Stanley Tucci's character is like, oh, I thought you lost you there. He was just provoking her to see how badly she wanted it, even when it seemed impossible. Great movie as well. Very like Pisces, Leo vibes. So that may have seemed long-winded, but I just kind of wanted to give a personal example and a movie example of what I was channeling and what this energy seems like, that even when it seems impossible or there's so many restrictions or people telling you no, if you know in your heart, look at all this Pisces energy, Mercury, Jupiter, Neptune, and the sun. If you know what's meant for you, you don't have to explain to anyone, and you don't have to take no as an answer. And sometimes I get clients saying, well, is that a universe saying no, and then I should let go and give up? It's like, well, no, it just means that oftentimes the universe tests us to ensure that we're ready for that next level and that we have faith in something that we know is already ours. So that's, again, energy that we can engage with this Mercury transit in Pisces, making all these beautiful connections with everything along the way as we approach this full moon, which takes place on Friday at approximately 3:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So depending where you are in the world, you might even be able to see it, especially on the West Coast in North America, to see this beautiful full moon. And for me, that full moon in Virgo is you get to rewrite the rules. Virgos are very meticulous and very orderly, and they like to follow a system, and there are rules in place for a reason. If that rule doesn't make sense anymore, if someone else's belief on how you should live your life or how you should spend your money or how you should pursue your dreams don't make sense, use this Virgo full moon to let go and saying, I respect that that may work for you or that helped you remain comfortable and help you survive, but that's not my narrative. I'm going to edit my life, my contract, the way that serves me best. So anything that you felt like you had to follow in order to fit in or to be successful, we're letting that go. And I do trust that some of you are going to see those manifestations of your deepest dreams and desires come into fruition leading up to that Virgo full moon, if not during the full moon. And this is something I kind of forgot to mention because I got excited talking about burlesque, is that the moon is making nice trines to both Uranus and Pluto. You can even just kind of see like this grand cross and earth energy. So Thursday, before we have the full moon, you might receive some unexpected help, or you're really going into the depths of your subconscious and getting some healing work or making breakthroughs and saying, I had the perseverance and now everything is coming in, like the birthing is happening, which may cause a lot of emotions and you just taking time to recalibrate. I'm not sure if I said this or not, but just be careful of overindulging in alcohol or addictions. You know, sometimes where we can either get really excited or we're really down on ourselves. And in order to have that stress release, sometimes we go to certain lovers or addictions or whatever to distract ourselves or to escape. That is an energy that could happen with this moon opposing Jupiter or Neptune. So it's just a lot of energy at play at once. So just be cautious of Thursday. And I mean, we all know that people can be erratic or have that lunatic energy approaching a full moon. So Thursday will be very much energetically charged. And then we have the full moon. And with this full moon activation moving into Friday, go out like Friday and Saturday with the moon in Libra making trines to Mars and Venus. Celebrate, especially for those of you who've achieved something big or a huge manifestation or a huge win or a windfall of money comes in. please celebrate it. Honor all the hard work and the faith and the tenacity that you put forth. And again, Moon in Libra, she wants to connect. She wants to have fun. For those of you who are dating or are approaching a lover, or maybe you took your shot when the moon was in Cancer with all that beautiful water energy last week, and you're like, I'm going to celebrate in all the ways with a beautiful dinner and a beautiful night in and great intimacy. So that's very much a vibe for Friday and Saturday. Go out. I do think whenever the moon is in Libra and Venus is also in an air sign, even if you're not the most social, you're probably going to be open to going out and just wanting to be around people and to rejoice and have that conversation and that fellowship. So Friday and Saturday for me, great energies to engage with. And you might even have some like new negotiations or new contracts or things to really dive into. It's like, okay, new information, new dreams, new manifestations come in. How can we best use this energy to serve me and the person that I'm collaborating with, or that I'm in contact with, or that I'm in relationship with, to really figure out the next steps? And both Saturday and Sunday are the final days of Pisces season. So it'd be nice to do that overall recap, see what's coming through before we initiate a brand new energetic year, before the spring equinox, before all of that energy comes into fruition. So take some time on the weekend to honor the growth, to celebrate your wins, and to hold space for what's to come for Aries season. Okay. I think that's everything. Yeah. Literally on Saturday, on March 19th, I just have fun, and I circled it. So whatever fun means for you, Friday, Saturday, enjoy it. Boom. That's all. So how did we like the 2-week format as opposed to the 1 week? I'm just curious, since it's the first time we did it. What are you excited about? How are we going to honor all the transition, all the change, especially with Mercury going into Pisces on the 10th of March? Really pay attention. And if you want to play little games with your intuition or really noticing your dreams, I personally would highly recommend that. And just being aware, especially that first week that we examined, of influences or how you are distracting yourself with social media or other people's energy, and really just taking time to honor where you're at, so that when everything really takes off leading up to that Virgo full moon, you have the groundedness. You're not going to be distracted or dissuaded by other people and their notions or their beliefs. You know exactly what you want, what you're working towards, what you're calling in, and just allow it to flow in with ease. Okay. Fabulous. So have a beautiful 2 weeks. Enjoy the rest of Pisces season. Embrace all of these beautiful, watery, creative vibes. And I will see you on the other side for Aries season. Bye.